Hello, my name is Jimena de la Rosa Rivera. I am 19 years old. I am a student electronic engineer. I am in my fifth semester, and in this presentation, I will develop my final project, which consists of talking about various topics addressed throughout this course. We we will talk about areas of the unity studied, such as asset stress, median influence, and development. In the first section called Embrace Stress, it focuses on highlight the university population, that is the stress that university students handle. It is said that some cause of the stress are the fact of being away from home due to because there are students who would study in other cities or countries, and in this way when socialize or being without their families consider areas and stress in general. Another cause mentioned in this section is the pressure of exams. It's clear that most of the students worry about getting good grades and winning their course. In addition, there are scholarship students who must meet average to continue with the scholarship. Therefore, the stress increase without of the stress is from daily life in the university students. However, dealing with stress is important that it is part of life and therefore we must know how to control it with techniques that are explored in the section, such as exercise, sleep, I or enough, meditate, listen to music, talk with friends and family, among others. With reference to my case, that I am university student, I don't get stressed by the pressure of being and getting good grades. However, over time, I have learned to deal with stress because I have already had episodes where it has affected my health. I am very stressed. I take active brain talking to my friends and families. They give me encouragement as well as walking and breathing. High and low stress just were also discussed, and the many influence those jobs that not stress so much and they are enjoyed in addition to not requiring much effort and present in the guidebook, university professor, stylists, librarians, and others. Will they are also busier and more exhausting jobs that generate great stress such as firefighters, policemen, taxi drivers, and others. I think that each job has difficulties and responsibilities that can fit people's stress levels. Therefore, it depends a lot how deal with each person. Plus, if you like, you do and work, you enjoy it, and is not much stress. Another point discuss the stress generation. Talk about the difference that exists in the concern on stress of age times. That is to say to age generation has its now cause of stress, taking into account that age of this has different contexts. There are classified into three generations: the fear of the baby boomers, which correspond and all those born between approximately 1946 and 1964. These suffer from the stress due to health and money issues. The next generation X were approximately between 1965 and 1980. You worry about work, money, and job stability. Well, the million generation were approximately between 1981 and 24 are the most stressed according to a survey. Therefore, the question is that worries millennials. To answer the question, the context of the generation is taken into account, such as the fact of the growing up in the digital world, where technology becomes more important every day, in addition to being found almost everywhere, for the reason the overload of information and social network causes stress in the generation. It should be that according to specialist parents overprotection of children generates insecurities that cause stress. Another hand, an interesting point about age mentioned in the section that is get older you gain experience in daily with stress and thus are happier. As the last point of the unity, how to make stress your friends, is proposed to see stress from a positive point of view, starting from the fact that stress is now to be harmful and healthy, even compress life in the this because we all believe or make our brain believe that stress is harmful and we don't know how to face or control it, causing health problems. However, according to specialists, is you see stress and friends or make your brain believe that it's not harmful, then the body will respond that its health will not be affected. A second unity called the influence of the media. Of the third point to be discussed is the cinema. These and various aspects mentioned. However, one of the most relevant is the progress has over the year relation to the technology implement that can be seen in the fact and fiction that we now see and that transport use imaginary world. On the other hand, it is analyzed that many times we have favorite character that inspire is to follow the example of attitude of these characters. We even dreams of being like the one day and the are case where the dreams come true. Therefore, these characters of movie influence our life. Another aspect to mention is to ask how do to how do the cinema the median affect. This question it is important to analyze because many times we don't give relevance of the points. As we can see in our daily life, there are many television programs or movies that show violent or aggressive behaviors that motivate or influence children, especially that they repeat or imitate this action, which hurt the inside their not learning behavior that contribute to their personal growth. Therefore, parents must be very attentive to what they are the children see they from coping violent behavior. However, there are programs that present positive action in the children that make the learning values. As a 3 point, uh, one of the most important in development of the things that role the superheroes plays in the influences of the media. As now, we can see superhero everywhere, since they are among the most interesting and see character by the public. Superheroes have a very special influence on the children because out to certain age there are no difference between the fiction and reality, which is why they feel the superheroes and copy this behavior. It should be added the superhero of the past can be compared with the ones we would now in different aspects of the mention that want to live in the public. In addition to the halves that those of the today sometimes shoot negative action and don't know how to check values to children can apply. However, today's superheroes have also linked character with disabilities, show, showing inclusion and teaching to value of acceptance and respect for others. As a last point to analyze, It is mentioned how women have been like in different way to the cinema. That is, we can already see the woman play or take a more important role in the program or movies of today. Saying we can see that the villains they are already film character, women and heroines, superheroes, and characters and others. In addition, the topic that discussed are then only about men, but different topic that show women in more equality way. Teamwork can be seen and the women are leaders. And as the last unity called development, tells about inspiration. There is this very important point in the life of the human being inside they are essential in the life project of each one of the people. However, we must think that this aspiration contribute too much to the personal development and also to the environment that surrounds us, in which they contribute to society for the reason they are the relationship with between our aspiration and development. Science aspiration allow development depend on where we want to go with our aspiration. It should be noted that the million generation increasing altruism in health others. Each time we see half of foundation, food, children, the elderly, education, and others increase. Another aspect is the economic. As time goes by, the notorious that some countries have improved their economy and their development has been great, and this due to factors such as the generation of job equality, the number of the population, among others. However, there are countries whose economies getting worse and worse, and development is affected. In addition, comparison, comparison and need is the fundamental elements to life change, and we see how they are increased or decreased over time induced development is not affected. After mention the relationship with the economic and development. One last point arises the correspondent to much the economic influence your happiness. There really are many studies or opinions for against. However, before it's important to clarify that to have a quality of life requires several aspects such as clothing, health, food, among others, but these aspects are not the ones that make you happy, since they are necessary only to have quality of life. A student called the Starling paradox comment that it affects belief that the richest or most developing countries are the ones that most like to be happy. However, these studies showed that the great economic development, the levels of happiness decrease. Therefore, the uh, author Richard think that economic development or wealth are not depend on increased happiness. Another study revealed a positive correlation between economic growth and happiness, having as a conclusion that money does improve happiness and that in extra dollar that air make you happier. They also add the compare your income with other is important side a population with equality is happier. Therefore, the happier people are, the more productive they will be, which will lead to better economic results and the individual and national levels. To conclude, after the addressing all these unities, there are many teachings that we can have and apply in our life. They are all topics that contribute to our personal and academic growth, in addition to develop to the skill to learn English. Thank you very much.